Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com.
We're going to talk about why your dogs won't walk nice on a leash, and there's a couple of nuances to this, but one of the biggest things that we come across as trainers is people wanting their dogs to greet and say hi on a leash, and kind of the social aspect of walking versus why you're truly going out for a walk. And I'm going to, I'm going to confess, and most people don't know this, and I had this great conversation with a client yesterday about leash walking. And so my first question is, how are the walk and trains going with their dog? And they actually love it, and they love the way she has been in the house and just her general interaction and just overall traveling. And so then my next question was, how many walks have you guys done? And they started getting a little, kind of funny, like, I don't want to answer this question. It's kind of like, where does your dog sleep at night? And nobody wants to tell us that their dog sleeps on the bed. And they're like, well, to be, honest, we haven't walked our dog. And I said, that's okay, because I don't walk my dogs either. And they were kind of floored at, you don't go for a walk? Like, you don't take your dogs out for a walk? And it's not something that I do with my dogs ever. And we're all kind of different that way with what we do and what walking is to each of us. So you'll kind of hear that through this conversation. But one of the biggest things that I tell people with our walk and trains is, why can we get it and get dogs to walk nice on a leash, and they can do the same exact thing and it doesn't work? And I tell people all the time, it's because it's not a socializing event for us, and we don't say hi. And that sounds super rude, but we don't go out walking. Rather, we're out shopping or seeing the Christmas lights this time of year or going to walk the park. We don't stop and say hi to strangers ever. Like, that's just not, if you're out looking for a social event, you join a social event that we're going to have a meetup at the park and greet and meet new people, but you don't just go out walking and saying hi to people. It also almost seems creepy. And we've had that, like, people join us in our walk. I've walked in sections of downtown Salt Lake that I've had some homeless people join me, and I actually gave them my umbrella one year. It was just a downpour, and they were walking with me to get under my umbrella because I had a really big umbrella, and I ended up leaving it with them when I left, And so it's not a normal, natural thing that we're going to go out walking to socialize. And so the thing that we experience is people want their dogs to say hi to strangers. And when I say strangers, strange dogs to strange people. And I'm not sure why that is so important to people and what it does to a dog. And how it impacts your leash walking. Michelle, when you're out walking, what have been some of your experiences as you start? Can you tell if a dog's been allowed to greet other dogs when you start, or just kind of talk about your experience with greeting other dogs?
Of course, dogs don't lie.
Yep.
People will lie to us sometimes. The dogs don't lie.
Yeah.
They could tell us exactly what is actually going on. I have a puppy right now that I'm working, and of course puppies are going to be a little bit different because they just don't know better, right? Like that's the point, is that we're teaching them the proper way to be out walking and socializing and stuff. But he is so distracted by other people and other dogs. And so the other day I asked his mom, and she's like, oh yeah, because that's why we go out walking. We go out to say hi to other dogs and people because that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you socialize, right?
Right.
He's actually really hard to walk and he's getting a little bit older now. He's still definitely a puppy, but he's really hard to walk for the first few minutes because any dog barks and he's like, where's the dog? I've got to go find the dog. We have to go say hi to the dog.
Yeah.
And it is so hard to walk him. And the other day she was like, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time walking him. He is so awful on a leash. And I'm like, usually after about 5 minutes of being with me, he's actually really great and he's doing fantastic for how old he is. But that's how we even got on the subject of her saying hi to everybody, because she's like, I just don't understand. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to socialize with our dogs. They also have a dog park in their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. We have all kinds of things against us there.
Yeah. So And she takes him there every morning. So, of course, that's where his focus is and where he's going.
Yeah.
But then I have the other opposite extreme, that I have dogs that are terrified to pass people because their owners are always avoiding people.
Right.
So you see the other side of that as well.
Yep.
We've got a couple of anxiety cases that will totally be like out of their way, trying to move out of the way. My own personal dogs. It's funny, Jo says she doesn't ever walk her dogs, and I used to be crazy about walking my dogs. They got walked every single day, and my poor dogs never get walked anymore because I walk everybody else's dogs.
Yep.
But I have two that are totally just can pass anybody on the street, and they don't care that they've never cared that they were there. And then I have one that if she sees a dog, she still has a lot of anxiety, and it's really hard to walk her. Like it is really hard to walk her.
Yeah. Yeah. Melissa, what's been your overall experience out in the general public walking dogs and working around people?
I do not like people trying to come say hi. I'll just be honest there.
Yeah.
It stresses the dogs out.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm working with a dog and walks are kind of their job, like I want them to be in the zone with me.
Yeah.
Like I want to spend time with the dog.
Right.
I want the dog to learn. Anytime somebody comes, and I like when people ask that, at least that's nice if they say, hey, may my dog come say hi.
Yeah.
But some people just let their dogs off leash.
Yeah.
Dogs run at me, and I don't know if they're nice. And how do they know if the dog I'm walking is nice?
Right. Because most of the time dog trainers don't have fabulous dogs with them.
Yeah. And so it's hard to that adds in like another piece to kind of manage and go, okay, I need to keep this dog away, because you don't know what they're going to do. And it's an awkward, they can't properly say hi on the leash. It creates anxiety, it creates stress. I was on a walk, and luckily this wasn't with the dog I was with, but I was walking, and it was kind of down on 13th, and these two ladies came across the corner, and their dog's like, oh, let's say hi. They started saying hi. They started fighting, and the dog grabbed the other one's neck, started shaking, and the women were like, wah!
Yeah.
And I was like a block away, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, this is what happens, and this is,
Right.
I don't say hi to people.
Yeah.
I let the dog see them, of course, but pass. Just like when I'm out on a walk or a run, I don't say hi to every single person I pass.
Right. Right.
I personally, I don't really walk my dogs, like, but Cooper and I go for runs.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's a purpose. Like, we have a job.
Right.
This is what we're doing.
Right.
But the idea of, like, Cooper would hate going on a walk and saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
She would be miserable during that whole thing.
Yeah. I think the one thing that for me when I'm out walking in the general public, and it actually is a funny little story, transfers to my horse riding as well, because the reins are just like the leash. And at the barn that we're at, there's several different trainers and several different disciplines there at the barn. And some days when I've gone to ride, like every trainer is out there, and some of them I don't really care for. And I think it's transferred to my horse because she kicks at them every time they ride by us. And I just keep on riding. And so I'm sure she can feel it, like, oh, because they kind of charge you and they're slightly rude in the arena with the way they're training. And so I just, like, I have this attitude towards them. And it's just, so it's transferred to my horse. And it's only with those trainers that she'll kick at their horses. So I just happily keep on going on. But out walking, I really have to focus from a trainer standpoint on how my clients are out walking and helping the dog be successful in that situation, but also help educate that our dog doesn't need to say hi to everybody, but it's fine for us to smile and say hi and keep moving on instead of hanging and putting our dogs in a bad situation. So I have to step out of my training zone where I get really focused and we're working, to looking up and saying hi to somebody that's sitting on their front porch, and because that's what the owners are going to do, but also helping educate the owners on, most of the time, it's not, you're just setting your dog up to fail when you're greeting on leash. And the majority of the dogs that we work with that are leash reactive, they have been in a dog fight on a leash because the owners have failed them in some way, shape, or form. And so then the dog has to be defensive on the leash. And so, there's just experience after experience that we deal with that, we go the opposite direction because so many times people have failed their dogs out walking. And so it's frustrating that we get forced into it. Michelle?
It's funny you just said that we avoid it or we turn around or whatever. I really don't feel like I have that many problems anymore. I feel like when I first started working, doing walks and stuff like that, I had it happen all the time. I felt like I was always in some kind of strange, predicament that I was like, I'm uncomfortable, so the dog is uncomfortable. And now I'm just not, because I don't put myself in those positions ever. I do cross the road, and it might be rude. I don't care. I don't care that you are offended that I cross the road.
Yeah.
I will turn around. I will tell people, no, you cannot pet the dog. I don't make eye contact with people anymore.
Yep.
When we're out training with a purpose.
Right.
If we're just hanging out. Actually, it reminds me of a lesson I did with you years ago, way before I worked here. We were at Murray Park, and the entire lesson was our dogs just settling in a social situation.
Mm-hmm.
So teaching our dogs that it was okay. They don't have to go say hi to other dogs, just to lay down and just be next to everybody. They don't have to be crazy and anxiety and intense and stuff like that. It's just if you do get yourself in that position, they just lay down and are okay, I'm comfortable.
Right.
But they can't do that if there's another dog jumping on them.
Yep.
And that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair to them.
Yep.
So it's just funny that as we're talking about this, I'm actually, I don't put myself in these positions. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
Every once in a while, I will still have people stop, driving their car and talk to me. But that's usually, a 10-second conversation, and then they drive on. So it's not like we're stopping to say hi.
Yeah.
We walk with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Melissa?
And it's hard because, sometimes in situations I don't want to seem too rude.
Sure.
Especially when, the people they have, I guess, good intentions. They're not meaning anything wrong. I think the hardest for me, I'm pretty good with dogs just saying no, we're good. But parents with kids, that's the hardest. I've had parents just let their kids run at me with a dog.
Yeah.
And it scares me. You don't know what this dog does.
Right.
But having that boundary while walking is also important to tell people, no, you don't need to pet my dog, or to know to turn your dog away.
Yeah.
That it's not fair to your dog.
Right.
To keep putting them in this situation.
Yeah.
Sadly, in those situations, I am always rude, because I think that the parents need to teach their kids how to be around a dog, because it's not okay.
Yeah.
And it sucks that I have to be the jerk, but sometimes it takes somebody being rude for them to be like, oh, my kid could have just gotten bit in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll even do it with Prudence, who loves everybody.
Right.
If a kid runs at her, I will put myself in between her and them. And it sucks because Prudence is please say hi. And I'm like, you can say hi, but you need to ask first. And I make sure the parents know that it's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Shannon, what advice do you have to just the general public out there as it relates to this topic?
Just don't be afraid to be in control of your walk. And whether that means that you want your dog to meet people on the walk or you don't, you just have to own what your purpose of walking is and just do that. So with my own dog, we usually walk the same route every day, and we have a certain dog on the way that we see, and we have a certain tree that we pee on, and a certain place where we're allowed to sniff, and the rest of the time we just walk along and don't talk to anybody, So if that's what you want your walk to be, then be. And then be respectful of other people. Do ask, don't run out, don't let your dog run off leash and go get them. Don't try and stop everyone that walks by with their dog. Some people go and walk their dog on their lunch, and they have 15 minutes, and it's their time to spend with their dog. And if you're chasing after them, oh, let me pet your dog. Oh, no, I've got to get back to work. Don't be upset at them if they're short with you or if they don't want to meet your dog, because not all dogs are nice. Not all people are nice. Not all people like other people. Just let your walk with your dog be your thing with them, and don't be worried about what it is to other people.
Yeah. Well, I think as it comes, down to it, is stop telling your dog that it's okay to say hi to every dog because it is dangerous. And that's what the dog goes out with the purpose of, oh, we go greet all the dogs. And then the owners get mad because their leash manners are garbage. Because every time they see another dog, or they're out hunting for another dog, right? Oh, where is it? What is it? And they're out ahead of you, constantly looking for the dog to say hi. And that's just a job for them. It's not something that they necessarily want to do. You've just told them that this is what we do on our walks. And so this is what has to happen. The other thing with leash walking and socializing is get rid of flexi leads and walk your dog so you can communicate with them. And, I don't ride my horse on a flexible rein. I communicate with them through their rein, and I feel it's exactly the same as you need to communicate. Your dog needs to be connected to you. And I just run when I see flexi leads. I literally will go as far away from them of a dog on a flexi lead as possible.
Just kind of thinking about the leash and how you're kind of comparing them to reins, but so much is communicated through that we don't even really recognize.
Yeah.
Like our emotions. And so if you
Sure.
are nervous passing people, don't lie to your dog.
Yeah.
Try to relax yourself. I've caught myself doing that a few times. If I know like a dog is reactive, I'll kind of like, and then I'll catch myself and be like,
Sure.
Melissa, what message are you giving this dog right now?
Right.
So like think of something happy, sing a song, listen to a podcast, call somebody, but be aware of your emotions and keep yourself in check. Don't expect your dog.
Right.
Be honest with that.
It's actually funny you say that because I'm just sitting here thinking of my own dogs and what we've created in them. How earlier I was saying Prudence is very anxious on a leash. My husband used to be terrified of dogs. Not like a dog. A dog was not scary to him.
Right.
But a group of dogs was he was terrified. So he was anytime, I guarantee you, when Prudence was a puppy, because Prudence is his dog, I'm sure anytime he saw a dog, he got really tense because he used to be a train wreck about it. He's actually pretty awesome about it now. He's come a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guarantee you that anxiety stems from him being that way.
Sure.
And we literally walked when my little ones were younger, we walked them every day. And we lived in an apartment, so there were dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
There were dogs off leash. There were dogs, there were giant dogs, and we had tiny dogs, and my husband had never had a dog before ever. And I guarantee that's where a lot of that comes from.
Sure.
But on the other side of it, I'm with you, Melissa. I'm really not I don't want to say hi to people. I don't. That's just never been my social side. I like people, and I actually really love my job and helping people, but that part of it, I don't want to stop and say hi to you. So a lot of times if we're ever out in crowds with our dogs, I hand our bigger dog off to my husband because I know I'm giving Murphy anxiety. Right. And Brandon loves that. Brandon loves the people social side of things.
Yeah.
So he gets that, and Murphy is so much calmer with him when we're out. We go to Park Silly or something, we go to a farmer's market. He is so much calmer. So there's a lot to say to that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So, I think overall, just your dog doesn't have to say hi to everybody. Your dog should be able to say hi to everybody that's in your group of friends and the way you socialize normally. And going out for a walk to socialize your dog is not okay. And that you should socialize your dog in your social circle. And the walk should be a walk. And it should be with purpose, and you should communicate through your leash, and there should be expectations, and routines are a great way to start that. And you can smile at people. You can, I'm not saying never let anybody pet your dog, but make it the right situation for you. And I am so against dogs greeting each other on leash because of the problems that we have to fix on the backside when something does go bad. So you don't have to say hi to dogs on leash. You can just wave and keep on keeping on. So your dog understands what the walk is and that it's your time with your dog.
Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com. And as always, we urge you to get out and train.